biomimicry. For the past 2 weeks, we have been seeing how scientists are stealing from God's design to create new inventions. In today's episode, we are going to see something similar to it, how the daily products which we use in our day to day lives were also copied from the creation of God. It's going to be something new today. Hello, everyone. This is Mishael, and welcome you all to this weekly poll program. And we are going to see something interesting today. Join. Do you know something? Almost all of the products which we use in our day to day life is copied from the creation of God. If we take a closer look of at the products which we use, we can see something, some pattern which was imitated from the creation of God. We might look at certain products and we might be astonished, like, who came up with such a great idea? Oh, this product is very useful. Who might have thought about this? But we need to remember that all those things would have been inspired by something which is there out there in the nature, and the pattern was given by God. So today we'll look at two examples how scientists were inspired by looking at a plant and they came up with some amazing innovations which is being very useful in our today's life. In 1940, a Swiss engineer, his name is George Du Mestral. He was walking in the woods along with his dogs, and suddenly he comes to find that there is something stuck on his clothes, and it is also stuck on his dog's fur. This is called as a burr plant. So usually if something gets stuck on a dress, what we do, we just try to brush it off, right? But when George tries to brush it off, he finds that he's not able to get rid of it. So what he does is that he takes to his lab and gets a deep look at it. When he zooms this particular plant, he finds that there is a different pattern in this plant. Now, this plant is actually called as a burr plant. This has a unique design in it. This is basically a dry fruit which has seeds on top of it, and this seed has a unique design to it. The end of a seed looks like a hook attached to it. This is because when an animal passes by the plant, these hooks gets attached to the animal fur, and wherever this gets shed, the seed starts to grow there and it becomes a plant at that place. So this is basically the pattern behind this plant, how it grows and how it spreads across that area. This method is called as the hook and loop method. So when George tries and finds this and understands the design behind this plant, something strikes his mind. He thinks that why don't we invent a product exactly by imitating this particular plant? So he takes up certain cloth materials and tries to imitate exactly how the plant looks, and he wants to build something or innovate something which gets stuck or which he can stick or he can remove at the same time. Can you guess what product he invented? He invented the product Velcro. It almost takes more than 10 years for George to finalize this product or to make it into a finished product. He tries very different material so that the product becomes a perfect one. And finally, he finds that it was nylon, which when heated at a particular temperature is able to create a certain hook kind of pattern. If you take a deep look at the Velcro which is there around us, which we use in our products, in our bags or shoes or whatever it is, if we take a look, we will find the exact same pattern how the burr plant is. How amazing is it, right? Now, this particular product, Velcro, is almost found in so many products in which we use. We find it in our wallet, we can find it in our umbrellas, we find it in shoes, we find it in curtains, or even there are some windows which has a mosquito net using these Velcros. And I can name so many products which uses this product Velcro. And in fact, even NASA was inspired when this particular Velcro was discovered for the first time. They even added to their spacesuit for their astronauts. And this took a big turn in the Velcro industry. There are so many textiles who started to use this Velcro also. Have you ever thought about this? A product, a Velcro, which is very commonly used by everyone, but it has a history behind that. The scientists who found had admired the pattern of the nature to come up with such a great invention. This really blows my mind. Now, there's something similar to it where a scientist gets inspired by admiring a particular plant. Let's take a look. Self-cleaning auto cleaning products. Now, this term has become a very common term. There are so many companies who have started to use this word to advertise their products. Recently, I saw an advertisement where they I was advertising a particular paint, saying that it was a self-cleaning paint. What they mean by is that if any dirt or something spills on the paint, it can be easily washed away. So basically, what method these companies use behind this self-cleaning technology is that they use a concept called as lotus effect. Let me tell you how they came up with this concept. The first ever product to use this concept of lotus effect was called a lotus and paint. This was invented by a German engineer named Bartholdt. So Bartholdt in 1970, he was admiring a lotus leaf on how unique design it had. Have you ever noted a lotus leaf? No matter how dirty water it grows, it had never gets dirty. That's because it has a unique texture on it. If you take a deep look, how much ever water you pour on a lotus leaf, it always flows away. It never stands stagnant or makes the leaf get wet. This is because we might think that the lotus leaf is too smooth so that the water is not able to stand on top of it, but that's not the actual reason. And Barthel takes a hold of a leaf. When Barthol zooms into a particular lotus leaf, he finds a very unique texture behind it. What he finds is that though the lotus leaf might be smooth for our visible eyes, it actually has a rough texture when viewed via a microscope. So, when one drop of water falls on top of this leaf, it is not able to stand on it, but rather it just flows away. So, this is actually called as a contact angle. So, what I mean by is that for a water droplet to stand on a surface, there must be at least a certain percentage of water that must be touching the surface. So, as the surface is very rough, the water droplet is not able to stand on top of it. So, in turn, what happens is that the water just flows on top of it. So, as the surface is too rough, only 2 to 3% of the water gets in contact with the surface. So this is the science behind the lotus leaf on why water does not stand on top of the lotus leaf, rather it flows. So Bhattacharya then later on he patents this particular discovery as the lotus effect. And from then on, there are so many companies who started to copy the exact same method in their products. Let me give you a few examples. There are some products as self-cleaning paints. What they do is that they claim that when this particular paint is used on exterior walls, no matter how much dirt or how much or whatever is spilled on this paint, by just wiping off, you can just get rid of the dirt. And number two, self-cleaning glasses. In huge buildings or skyscraper buildings, architects use this particular product called a self-cleaning glass because the glass is ensured that when it rains, is always kept clean. There are some self-cleaning fabrics. There are certain medical uniforms, sports wears, or outdoor wears which uses this lotus effect so that when water comes in contact with this dress, it never gets wet, but it always ensures that the fabric is kept dry. There are some automobiles you use self-cleaning paint on top of the car so that the car looks always clean and shining. Now, all these products, they use the same common method as the lotus effect. They find unique ways to ensure that the texture which is applied on top of all these products looks exactly like the texture of a lotus leaf. We would have never imagined such a thing. We might be thinking like, oh, the scientists have come up with a different idea of finding self-cleaning products, of ensuring that the product is always kept clean. But the truth is that it was inspired by a creation of God. That's the truth behind it. The psalmist says something very beautiful in Psalms 139. Psalms 139 verse 14 reads as, I praise you because I am fearfully and wonderfully made. Your works are wonderful. I know that full well. How amazing this is, right? If we take a deep and closer look at the products which is around us, we will surely be able to find a particular pattern, a unique design which was copied from the creation of God. That's how amazing and beautiful the creation of God is. If it's God's will, we'll meet you in another episode of this weekly Pearl program. God bless you.